Hey guys, what's going on? So in this video, as promised, I am making a video all about Walker Stalker Con 2018 for New Jersey. So it is the day after all the events and I am super tired. I think I'm just overall exhausted from just standing in line for pretty much 2 days straight waiting to get pictures and autographs and whatnot, but I ended up making a video and uploading a video and uploading a vlog of my 2-day event. So if you haven't checked that video out yet, I urge you to go check that out before you look at this video, because this video is more or less like a follow-up video to the video that I just posted. And in that video I have pictures and videos of the celebrities and overall what the con looked like and so on and so forth. This video is just going to be about me and my overall experience and what I did over the past 2 days at the con. So, alright, enough chit chat. Let's get right into it. So, Friday was actually will call day, so you can actually pick up your tickets a day before the event. So I went ahead and picked up my tickets to save some time online. So I could just basically get on the main line on Saturday and just get into the venue. So I picked up the general admission passes and I got one for myself, and then I got a couple of others for different people who are attending in my party. So I'll show you the general admission pass. This is what it looked like. And in case you're wondering whose signature that is, that's Rob Pryor, who is the artist who made the picture. And every year it seems like they have a different artist on the lanyard. So I went ahead and got that signed, and they usually sign them for free, so he signed this for free for me, which is very nice of him. Okay, but yeah, I picked up the passes on Friday and got to the event on Saturday. So Saturday I left early. I left at around 9. I'm only about 20 minutes from the venue. So I left at around 9-ish, picked up some coffee and went over there. Now, I do have the general admission pass, which means I'm basically on the lowest tier. There's all different tiers, and I'm the lowest tier. The general admission passes are generally the cheapest passes you can get, and we'll get into a little bit more of that in a minute. So I got there. The parking was not that great. I parked in the street, but I didn't park too far away from the venue. So parked in the street. It was super cold out, and there's really nowhere to keep your coat. As far as I know, there's nowhere you can put your coats in the venue or whatever. So I took my coat off and I just wore a jean jacket, and that was really it. And I had like a sweatshirt on. So it was mighty cold outside waiting. So yeah, I waited outside online. And the line was tremendous. I think more people attended the event on Saturday. So the line, like, was huge. It's just kind of, like, wrapped around, like, the whole entire venue. It was huge. And I was, like, way towards the back of the line. But, like, I really didn't care because it was so cold out. Like, I didn't want to stand there so long and freeze. But either way, got online and I just froze waiting to get into the venue. So, yeah, there was tons and tons of people waiting to get in. I think I waited maybe almost a half hour to get in there. So now, because I'm general admission, the doors for general admission did not open till 10:30. If you bought a VIP or a gold or a platinum pass, you were able to get into the venue earlier. I believe you were able to get in at 9 o'clock, but don't exactly quote me on that one. I think it was 9 o'clock. So everybody else who bought higher passes got in, but the GA people were just standing in line freezing. So the line was very disorganized also. I think that there weren't enough people outside, volunteers outside, saying like, hey, if you don't have your lanyard, you have to go get your lanyard. You can't have just the paper pass or the pass on your phone saying that you bought the ticket. Because, you know, every year a lot of new people attend the event, and some people just don't know. Like, last year was my first year attending the event, and I just didn't know. We were standing online, and they're like, oh, no, you got to go get your lanyard. So some people just don't know, and you can't blame them. So, yeah, the line was a little bit disorganized, unorganized, whatever. So finally we got in. I think we got in, I think I got in at almost about 11 o'clock, but because by the time, you know, everybody gets in there, they check your bag and whatnot. I don't think I arrived until about 11 o'clock. So I basically had an agenda for Saturday. I had like a list of things that I wanted to do. So right away, once I got in there, I like ran to the back because I know the back is where the autographs are and the selfies are, and that's basically what I wanted to do Saturday. So I went and I was running around and I'm like, oh my God, who do I want to see? Whatever. So I saw Pollyanna McIntosh, and she was somebody that I really wanted to see. I really like her as a person. I think she's a really great person. And I do like her on the show. I think she developed into a really great character on the show. So I jumped onto her line, and her line was actually pretty decently long. And I was a little bit surprised by that because I didn't think she was going to be such a popular character. But got on her line. Now, this is the part that was a little bit annoying, but you can't get too annoyed by it. So there are 3 lines. There's a general admission line, there's a VIP line, and then there's the gold and platinum line. So if you're a VIP or you're a gold and platinum, you stand in a different line and you're basically able to hop the line, cut the line. It's kind of like a fast pass. Like if you've ever been to like Disney or something like that, the fast passes, you can just kind of cut the line. That's kind of how this worked. So I think there was only like 1 volunteer at Pollyanna's line, and she was kind of letting everyone that was VIP or not general admission, VIP or gold or platinum, she was kind of letting them all go. And I think I was kind of like second on her line, on Pollyanna's GA line, and like we're all kind of sitting there and we're like, well, hey, when are we gonna go? This isn't fair. So the volunteer, I mean, no offense to the volunteer, I'm sure she was only doing her job, but she was kind of like, oh, well, you know, they gotta go, I'll let you guys in soon, whatever. So then I think I waited maybe over a half hour and still nothing was happening. And then Pollyanna actually had to leave and do a photo op for like 15 minutes. So we were like, oh crap, like now we gotta wait for her to come back. And I'm like, whatever, I'm only, you know, I'm like the second person in GA. I'm just going to wait it out. I'm going to wait for her. I really want to meet her. So she came back, and then she was taking more of the VIP people and, you know, all the other higher people than us. And then, you know, finally the GA people started to say, even I started to say like, hey, you know, when are we going to go? When are we going to go? So finally she started pushing some GA people in there. So hopped on the line, and finally I was able to pick out a picture and get my selfie with her. And I believe she was $60 for a combo. I believe. I don't think she was $80. I think she was $60, which that's a decent price, you know. So I picked out my picture. I picked out whatever, picked out my picture, and then I got the selfie for her. So finally met her, and I just need to like really say she is such a sweet, nice, genuine actress. She is so nice. I really wasn't even expecting her to be nice. And let me just note another reason why it was taking so long, because she literally spoke and had a conversation with each and every individual. She was just so nice. Out of everybody I met, she was probably the nicest, most genuine person. So met her, gave her a hug, you know, we spoke a little bit. She was like, oh, what's your favorite season on The Walking Dead? And you know, we had a conversation. I said, oh, you know, I really didn't like your character at first. I thought you were so weird. I was like, why does she only say 2 words? And she was like, yes, you know, I did my job then. I asked her even to take a snap with me, a Snapchat. And she was like, yeah. She was like, are you going to make me into one of those little animals? And we started laughing. So she was just super, super sweet. And I even said to her, you know, Pollyanna, thank you for being just so nice and, you know, taking the time out to talk to everyone. And she was like, no, you know, that's how it should be. I think, you know, you can either do this fast or you can do this, you know, slow, and you can really take your time and get to know everyone. And I, you know, I really thanked her. I appreciated that. So I gave her a hug to leave. And then she signed this for me, which was very nice of her. So yeah, she was my first person. So I got off of her line, and by that point you're like, adrenaline is pumping. You're like, yes, I need to meet more people. So I was walking by, and I'm like, all right, who am I going to see next? So I saw Kari Payton, and I'm like, oh yeah, Ezekiel. I need to see Ezekiel. I've never met him before. So his line was insane. his line was probably the craziest and the worst line I got on, next to the Daryl photo op, which was terrible. But his line was probably the worst as far as a photo and a selfie. So I waited on his line for 2.5 hours. Yeah. I think I got on his line at about 12-ish, and I didn't get off the line until after like 2:30-ish. Even maybe almost 3 o'clock. His line was insane. So, yeah, just did a lot of waiting for him. And again, to reiterate, it was just like a lot of people kept cutting me because I was general admission and yada, 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 and it kind of sucked. But, you know, again, hey, those people pay for that, so you have to kind of understand, even though it sucks just waiting. So yeah, I waited for him, finally got to meet him. He was a really nice guy too. Didn't really say too much. He had on a tiger shirt for Shiva, so I was like, oh, I like your shirt. He's like, oh, thank you. Honestly, I don't really remember what I really said to him. It wasn't a whole lot that I said to him. I just said, I remember one thing. I was like, oh, I'm like, can you do me a really huge favor? And he goes, depends on the favor, in his big Ezekiel voice. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, do you mind if we take a Snapchat video and you say, for the kingdom? Because that's what he's known for saying. That's his big line. So he told me no. He basically was like, no, I would, but I used to do videos, but it kind of ruined my voice. It affected my other job and whatnot. And I mean, I understand, but it was kind of like, come on, dude, I paid $100 for this. So I took some selfies with him. I got an autograph with him. And, you know, he was a nice guy overall, but I was a little bit annoyed about that. But I mean, you know, I guess it's understandable. And I also thought about the fact that if I do that, then if everyone else sees that, they're going to be like, oh, I want a video with him. So I kind of get it. Yeah, but that was really it with him. I can't really remember anything else standing out in my mind with him. Just overall waiting forever to see him. So after that, I was like pretty shot after that. I was hungry. I think I took a quick break to eat, sat down for a few minutes, because overall you're just so tired sitting there for like whatever, hours and hours just sitting to wait and see these people. So I think I took a quick break, and I was like checking my money and checking my cash and all that, and I'm like, all right, who do I want to see next now? I saw that Michael Cutlass was there. Never met him either, and he was only $60, and his line wasn't actually that bad, and I'm assuming it's because he's not on the show anymore that his line wasn't too terrible. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I want to meet this guy. So I got on his line. His line wasn't too bad. Maybe a half hour I waited. Got to meet him. He was really sweet. He was like, oh, I really missed you on the show. The show is not the same without you. And he's like, thank you, you know, I appreciate that. Gave him a hug too, took some selfies with him. I said, oh, I know he's on a new show. I'm like, oh, I like your new show, it's funny. I always try to think of something to say to these guys, because I don't know, you know, you don't know if they're really going to talk to you. So I try to think of something to say to them. And this is the picture I got with him. Yeah, so he was just very nice also. So then last one I got of the day, I got Nadia Hilker, she's the newest character on the show. Nadia Hilker and Dan Fogler, I believe that's his last name. They were both there, and they were the new group on season 9. So I was like, all right, you know, I do want to see Nadia. She seems like her character is going to be really interesting on the show, and she seems like she's going to be the leader of the new group on the show. So went over and saw her. The line for her was actually pretty big as well. A lot of people had comics for her to sign, I noticed. So I waited also a decent amount of time to see her, and she was very sweet. I would rate her up there in top people that actually had a conversation with me. So for photos, she didn't really have a lot of photos from The Walking Dead. She had one photo, and I didn't like how the photo of her looked for The Walking Dead. It just didn't look a good quality, and I don't know, I didn't really care for the photo. So I ended up picking this photo out. And honestly, not gonna lie, this kind of looks like it could be from The Walking Dead, especially from the fence in the back. That looks like some Alexandria shit right there. But that isn't from The Walking Dead. It's actually from a show called V100 that she was on. Don't really know much about the show. I Googled her name before I got the picture with her, and I did see that, but I don't really know much about the show at all. So when I went up there, she was like, "Oh, are you a fan of the 100?" I'm like, "No, I'm just a really big Walking Dead fan." So we spoke briefly for a couple minutes, and you know, I first of all, she looked badass. She had like a witch's hat on, and she had a really cool sweater on. She just looked really awesome. I was like, "Oh, I love your style, you know, you look so cool." And I'm like, "You know, you look like you're gonna be a badass character on the show, and I can just tell you like a badass, and I wanted to meet you." So she was like, "Oh, thank you, you know, I appreciate it, whatever, you know." So yeah, she was nice. The only thing that annoyed me was when we took the selfie, I couldn't really get a good picture of her because she was sitting behind the table. I don't know why she was sitting behind the table. Most of them don't do that. Maybe she just didn't want to stand for such a long time, which I do understand. So she actually just like got up and leaned over from the table, and she was like, "Okay, yeah, we'll take the picture." So I couldn't get a good picture, like a good frame. So I was like, "Oh, can you take the picture?" So she kind of turned the camera the other way. She turned it, you know, vertically to take the picture, and I was like, what? So most of her face is in the picture, and then like there's a little bit of me like that maybe like half of my face is in the picture, which kind of pissed me off because she was $50 herself. So it's like, you know, I'm paying a lot of money to take a selfie with you. Like, I want to take a decent selfie with you, not like half of my face in the picture, but whatever. I didn't really want to do too much complaining. She took 2 pictures quick, and she was like, "All right, yeah." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." Yeah, so that was her. And by the time I got off of her line, it was 5 o'clock-ish. So I was going from pretty much 11 to 5. So what's that, like 6 hours of just dead standing online and waiting to get autographs and selfies. So I was exhausted just from standing so long. Yeah, so by that point, I think it was ending at 6 o'clock for the day. So I walked around once, and I just took a look at the vendors and whatnot. And that's when I got Rob Pryor to sign my lanyard. I saw him, and I just asked one of the volunteers, "Can he please sign my lanyard?" And he signed it for me. So, and that was really it for day one. Day one, like I said, just a lot of signing, a lot of selfies and whatnot. But all those people I got, I really did want to meet them and get their autographs and whatnot. So it was great. So day two. Now day two, we got to the venue. I want to say probably around the same time, maybe 10, but we still got online and waited a good amount of time. It wasn't as crowded Sunday as Saturday seemed. Saturday just seemed way more insane, but I don't know, maybe it just could have been me. So yeah, we got on the line, and we got in there about 10:30, I want to say. So right away I was like, you know, I want to meet Jesus. I do. It's Sunday, I need to meet Jesus. So he was like the last guy I didn't get to meet. So we got on his line, and maybe we waited about an hour to see him. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but you know, a lot of people were cutting in front of us, VIP, gold, platinum, yada, yada, yada. So finally got to meet Jesus, and he was like, he's short and like thin, like, I don't know, I guess on TV they obviously look different because a lot of these people looked short, like especially the guys. The only tall person was Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Pollyanna. They were tall, but everybody else was so short. It was funny. But anyway, here is my autograph with Jesus. Jesus loves you. Didn't really say too much to him. I didn't really know what to say. I just said to him, I feel like you were a wasted character on the show. I think you could have been, you know, more to the show, whatever. And he said, I know, in his British accent. And that was it. Gave him a hug, took some selfies with him. So yeah, so then by then, the only thing really left for me to do was my photo ops. So I had purchased 2 photo ops. I purchased them back in October. One was for Norman Reedus, one was for Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Now, I have never done any photo ops with any celebrities ever before. So this was crazy. And I honestly don't know if I'll ever do a photo op ever again. So, where is it? So here's my Norman Reedus one. I don't really love how I look in this one. I look kind of like, what? But yeah. So his line was insane. And the thing that pissed me off the most was they just bunch everyone together so close, so tight, and it's just not good. Like, you can't even barely breathe. And, you know, I'm surprised that nobody ever passes out with these events because you're just so close. You're so tight. It's just terrible. And I waited almost, I want to say an hour or maybe over an hour, just huddled like so close and tight with everybody waiting to get these pictures. And if you're ever wanting to take these pictures, don't think that you're going to be really able to talk to them. This is different from like a selfie from the other, from the autographs that I was showing you. You can't get an autograph from them. You really can't talk to them. Basically, you're in and out. I got in there. They were like, okay, next. Got in there. I shook his hand real quick. I said, nice to meet you. He said, oh, nice to meet you. Stood there, click, next. Like, that's it, you know? It's not like you're going to have a conversation with them or you're going to get an autograph or anything like that. It's basically like a 5-second thing. I literally met the dude for 5 seconds. So, yeah. That was him. And, my last photo op was with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I like how this one came out. It looks much better. He is such a sweet, genuine man. Like, he's so, so nice. Believe it or not, his line was not as bad as Norman's was. At least I thought. So, I think maybe we waited, I don't even want to say an hour, maybe 45 minutes, but whatever. We got in there. It's really, really nice. He gave us 2 like bear hugs. I'm like, oh my God, we love you. We love you. Hugged him really tight. And yeah, we were like super happy. I think that's why the photo came out so good, because we were both smiling in the picture. And then we were just holding on to him, and then they're like, come on, like, you know, go, go, go. And we're like, oh, Jeffrey, we're taking you home. And he's like, I'm coming, and he's walking to the door. I'm like, oh, God, I wish. Yeah, so got his, and I think by then it was maybe a little bit after 3 o'clock, and I did everything that I needed to do. So overall, it was very successful for me, even though it was frustrating waiting online so long. You know, when you come to these events, you have to understand that there's going to be a lot of people and there's going to be a lot of waiting, and you need to be patient. Unless, of course, maybe you're willing to shell out an extra couple of $100 to buy a higher pass, which I'm considering maybe moving up to a VIP next year, just so I don't have to wait on these lines much longer. I don't know. I don't think it's like in me to be standing online for hours and hours anymore. So, yeah, guys, that's really about it. I also got this cup. They had refillable root beer cups, so I picked this up right before I left. It's very nice. And as we were leaving the venue, like I said, it was a little bit after 3. So Jeffrey Dean, he was all done with his photo ops, and he was getting ready to leave for the day. So when we left, we were getting ready to leave when we were sitting there just warming up the car, and we saw a big Escalade pull up, and we're like, oh my God, I bet you that Jeff is getting in that Escalade. So we're all just like sitting there in the car, and we're like waiting. We're like, oh my God, he's gonna come out. He's probably gonna come out. So we're like, what the hell are we doing sitting in the car? Let's get out of the car and let's go see him. So we got out of the car and we waited, and sure enough, he came out, and it was so freaking cool. He actually wound up signing something for someone, and I was like, damn it, I should have brought that picture. He probably would have signed it for me. But yeah, that was super, super cool. Not only did I get the photo op, but I actually got to see him again, and he walked past me, and I reached my hand out, and he grabbed my hand real quick, and I was like, oh, Jeffrey, come home with me. Yeah, so that was another part that was really, really cool. And then also, when we were pulling up to the event for day 2 early in the morning, we actually saw Jeff, Austin, and Nadia all outside, and they were smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee, and we were like, oh my god, oh my god. And we rolled down the window, and we were screaming, and then one of the volunteers was like, get out of here, get out of here. So those were like really 2 cool moments that you don't get every day either, which I thought I should share. Also, guys, real quick, I forgot to mention, I did get selfies with Alana Masterson as well. I didn't get any autographs with her, and that's why I forgot to mention her in the video. I got autographs with her last year when I first met her, and she was super sweet and super nice, so I wanted to meet her again just because I had a really great experience with her. So I waited about a half hour for her. She was out to lunch when I wanted to meet her, so I stood online for about a half hour. I was like the first GA person waiting for her, and her volunteer was like, are you sure you want to wait? Like, she's not here, she's on lunch. I'm like, yeah, I'll wait. Because I waited 2 hours for everybody else. Might as well wait a half hour for her. So yeah, I got to meet her, gave her a big hug. She was nice, but we really didn't talk much. Kind of just took the selfies with me, and that was really it. I was like, oh, Alana, you know, you're my favorite. And she was like, oh, thank you. And that was really it with. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up this video. Like I said, my overall experience at the con this year was very good. Were there things that they could improve on and do better? Yes, but overall, pretty good. Like I said, you know, you have to remember that this is a convention, and it is going to be crazy, and it is going to be super crowded and whatnot. So, I mean, you do have to be patient with everything. But yeah, overall, I had a great time. And Walker Stalker has been confirmed for next year, so I will be attending the event. And what I'm thinking about doing is maybe in a few months from now, I will do a tips and maybe advice for the con for next year, and for anyone who's attending any Walker Stalkers now or in the future. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being patient and listening to me. And take care, guys. See you later. Bye.